Hello everyone, it's Galina and thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to create a bunch fun Easter cards using only a one stamp set, actually even a one stamp. I'm going to mass produce my Easter cards using new X stamp set by Studio Katia as well as coordinating dies. I'm going to play with my alcohol inks to create a base for X. And if you don't have any alcohol inks in your stash or you haven't tried them, but for sure you need to try them, they are super fun to play with. But you can use watercolor paints instead, just mix them with a lot of water on a watercolor paper and you can create a pretty similar backgrounds. And I need to tell that I'm working on a special paper for alcohol inks. It's actually a piece of thin plastic, not a real paper, and I applied a lot of regular alcohol as a base for my background because I want to have a lot of smooth light edges on the background. And in the center of each big alcohol drop I added a few colorful drops from my alcohol inks. And I'm using some blue and black colors, just a little bit of emerald green color, and I mix them up using my plastic straw. Those things can be easily mixed with a low heat dryer or a straw or any other tools you may have by hand. At first I moved all the colors with my plastic straw to create a small colorful spots. In this way it was easier for me to create a small background for a small stamped images. I created a lot of backgrounds because I want to be able to choose best parts for my Easter eggs, and also I'm going to use this small leftover piece from my previous project with beautiful pink and yellow colors. And using a clear film from a stamp set you can find the best parts of the background. To stamp on such a specific paper, you will need a specific ink. For example, you can use an archival ink from Ranger or a STAYS-ON black ink. Both those inks will dry permanently on a smooth surface. And I'm stamping a lot of eggs all over the paper. Again, just to make sure I will be able to pick the perfect ones for my cards. And if you don't plan to mass produce such Easter cards, you will need only 4 stamped images. Next I'm going to fuzzy cut all the eggs. Just because I want to have a white thin frame around the eggs, but if you're okay with a colorful frame around your stamped images, you could use a coordinating die and skip the next step. And just look on those little eggs. I'm totally obsessed with them, and actually I was inspired with this stamped outline image to create ink blended kind of patterns for those eggs. So to create a thin white frames around the eggs, I used a coordinating dies and I didn't separate them to cut out 2 eggs at once. But I want to show you that the left die will cut out a dotted line around the egg. Next I'm going to stick up those 2 pieces using double-sided adhesive tape. Next I want to show you how to assemble those cards quick and easy. I cut out 2 colorful panels using a largest die from Dotted Pattern Set number 1, and I'm going to foam mount them on a colorful cardstock using a double-sided adhesive foam tape. But at first I'm going to attach those 4 eggs as well as a sentiment. I hit emboss this small sentiment from KOBI'S mini Easter stamp set on a black cardstock, and I will foam mount it right in the center. On the left blue card I'm going to add those eggs in a similar way, but this time I'm going to stamp sentiment right on the card panel. And to embellish those cards I use my favorite gem crystals and some drops. So for the pink card I used icy sparkle crystals. For a similar blue card I used new fantastic embellishments. They called magic pearls, and I can't even describe the color of those pearls. They look really magical. Here is one more card using those eggs, just because I couldn't stop to make those cards. It was super fun process. And for this card I use only 2 eggs. I stamped a mini Easter sayings sentiment on the top corner. And for this card I used silver sparkle crystals to match the thin border on the bottom. I hope you like this video and you will try to create your own Easter cards with those eggs. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next week. Bye!